Today we're going to talk about the drag and drop capabilities within Preactor. In most cases, you'll want to do your normal scheduling with Preactor rules, but there will always be opportunity within Preactor to adjust the schedule using drag and drop. So to begin with, just doing a simple drag and drop, we can take an order, and in this case, this order has, looks like 5 operations, all the same color. So I'm just going to take the first operation. And you notice that as I'm dragging it, Preactor won't let me drop it into a resource that it is not compatible with. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it on lathe 1, and that'll put the first operation on the screen, leaving 4 left over. We can now take each one of those and drag them on, or we can just right click, say place on planning board. We're going to just do it bidirectionally. So now it's taken all of the operations for that order, kept the first drag and drop position, and put the orders in line as they should be. Another option with drag and drop is to be able to drag to another resource. So once you've got your schedule in place, this is the most common, where we're saying, okay, this one's running on lathe 1, but I know I can run it on the machining center. So since I'm doing other operations on the machining center, I would like to drop that there. So I'm just going to move that, drag and drop it, and it's in place. If I also wanted to move that operation out in the schedule, let's say I know the machinist that I really want to work on this isn't available till the next day, I can drag it wherever I want to go. I can drop that in place. In this case, I would lock the operation and do what's called a repair. When I do the repair, it's going to realign the operations around that operation that I just locked there, pushing them all out since that machinist isn't available until the 15th. Another way of using drag and drop is to do a backwards schedule. So what we're going to do here is take the last operation in this order, and we can see that it's due on the 26th. So I want to scroll out a little bit closer to my due date. And I'm going to say, I'm going to drop it on the 25th. So I want to leave a little bit of leeway in case things get pushed out, so that it will run on the 25th. And if anything gets pushed out a little late, it still won't be at risk. So I can put that the back end of the schedule nearest its due date. Then I can right click again and say place on the planning board, and I can either do bidirectionally or backward all operations. And that's going to take the other operations and essentially backward schedule them from that endpoint to say, here is essentially the latest I can start and still have that due. This is helpful in situations where you have an order that's really, let's say, 6 months out, and it's only going to take a few days to manufacture. You don't want it to manufacture it today, use up today's capacity, and have it sit on a shelf for 6 months. So you can backward schedule it from that point, and that way it's in the schedule, but it's not taking up any of the capacity that could be used by other orders. And you notice we can drag either from the unallocated bar onto the schedule, or we can drop within the schedule wherever we may want to drag an operation, as long as it can run on that particular resource. It will come up and tell us if we're violating any constraints. In this case, we have a secondary constraint called chuck steady that we're violating. And if we don't want to violate that, we can go ahead and say no and undo the operation, and it'll put it back where it was. That is the basics of the drag and drop within Preactor. Now, there are some enhanced drag and drop features that I'd like to show you that we've built in our LSI tools that are available to all of the LSI clients. So if you don't have these and need these, please let us know, and we can install them in your model and make sure that they'll work within your model. So the first one I want to show you is dragging and dropping an order. So in this case, I have my enhanced functionality turned on. You'll notice if I drag this order and drop it earlier in the schedule, it's still going to give me that warning. I'm going to override it and say, yes, I want to continue. I don't want to undo. But you notice it drags all of the succeeding orders or operations with it. And that's an enhancement that we can install. It's helpful in situations where you're always dragging the entire order. Some people prefer having a single drag and drop. Others like to have that multi drag and drop so that I can when I move the order, it moves itself. Likewise, if I just move the downstream portion of that order, it's going to realign the downstream operations, but leave the upstream operations intact. So the other enhanced drag and drop is a way of doing a multi drag and drop, in which when we have it turned on, you can select operations that are on the same resource. And once they're highlighted, you can drag all of them at once to another resource. So in this case, we're going down to the mill, and it's going to let you drag that around. I can drag it back and put it in a different time, but it's just an easier way of selecting multiple operations and moving them to another point in the schedule. That's the basics and some of the enhanced drag and drop features of Preactor. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please contact us at info@lean-scheduling.com. Thank you.